Hello, Science Jags. Thank you for joining this week's episode of Science Periodically, the show where you get a nice break while learning about the School of Science. My name is Dustin Ryder, and I'll be your host today. I'm a senior forensic science and biology major here at Iupui. So while it's a little easy to look up information on a website, it's a bit harder to get a true feel for what it's actually like to study at a university. And with COVID, social distancing, and the restrictions going on, it's a little bit harder. So that's why I'm here, to kind of help you get a real feel of what life is like at IUPUI. So today is the second of 3 Science Periodically JagDays. So if you guys missed the first one, be sure to check it out on our YouTube channel. So today's topic is science student life outside of the classroom. So I've asked a couple of friends from the School of Science to join me today to talk about science student life, such as student organizations, housing, resources, the advantages, and just the advantages to studying in downtown Indianapolis. So also, one of my favorite people, School of Science Director of Academic Affairs, Dr. Diana Sims-Harris, will be here to talk more about science student life outside of the classroom as well. Then we'll be joined by current science students who will share their experiences in science clubs and housing and answer your questions about whatever is on your mind. Now, our science recruiter, Lori Hart, is also on this webinar and will be answering your questions in the Q&A. So don't be off-putting if you find her answering your question. Now, we do encourage you guys to ask any questions you may have for me or our guests through the Q&A that's going to be at the bottom of your guys' screen. So here are our science student guests today. Now, we do have over 30 clubs here in the School of Science. In fact, every major has a club, and there are also many honor society and interest groups as well. So science clubs are really a great opportunity to not only make friends, but gain leadership opportunities and make connections in science as well. And you guys are welcome to join any of our student organizations, no matter what your major is. So if you're interested in growing plants, our biology club helps in the greenhouse on top of the science building and holds several plant cells each year. I have a couple of plants myself. Now, if hiking and caving is more your thing, you'll definitely want to check out our science club. They actually couple up with the biology club for their plant cells every year. Now, if you maybe rather want to help plan a murder mystery dinner with our forensic science club or build a gaming cabinet with the computer science club, you're also more than welcome to do that. Now, the School of Science is also a very close-knit community of students, faculty, and staff. So every fall, we celebrate the return to campus with a science picnic. So this is where you get to mingle with fellow students and your professors and visit all of our science and IUPUI club booths. You can jump on our inflatables and eat the free food that everybody loves, especially me. Now, spring semester, you'll be welcome back with our Science Carnival of games, prizes, food, and friends. So science students also have a presence at pretty much all of our campus events. So our homecoming regatta canoe race in the canal, which is always a real big fun blast right there. You can also dance with the kids at the Riley Dance Marathon, which we actually call the Jagathon here. And if you'd like to, you can also join the Jagapalooza at the end of the year, which is pretty much just carnival rides and carnival food, which is something I love endlessly. So if you ever need a break from your courses, there you go. Now, you'll also be right in the middle of all the exciting opportunities available to you in the city of Indianapolis. So downtown has great career and internship opportunities, but as I like to say, a big city with even bigger opportunities. So we have professional sporting teams, museums, restaurants, and even the zoo that are within walking distance of our campus. Now, we also have the Cultural Trail, White River State Park Amphitheater, and Monument Circle, which are also close by. And so there's pretty much something to always do around campus, no matter what it is. Now, getting on to the best part, our first guest today is Dr. Diana Sims-Harris. She's the Director of Academic Affairs here at the School of Science. Diana's expertise is in first-year seminars, academic advising, student organizations, and pretty much science student housing, among a plethora of other things. So that being said, I'd like to welcome Dr. Sims-Harris. So, yep, there she is. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I do remember that you said you have a presentation for us as well. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and kind of how students will interact with you on campus?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Dustin. I'm going to share my screen here so you can see a little bit more about some other involvement opportunities. So thanks so much to Dustin for sharing a lot of the great opportunities that we already have here on campus. All right. And so as Dustin shared, I am let me stop the share for a second. It shared the wrong screen. There we go. So as Dustin shared, I am the Director of Student Affairs for the School of Science. So I work with a lot of different areas within the School of Science, but the common thread with all of them is helping you be successful in your science career. So you'll see me at orientation, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I work a lot with our student organizations, our STEM housing communities on campus, and then also work with a lot with our academic advisors as well. So we're all here to support you and to really enrich your experience while you're here at Iupui. So some of the things we are going to talk about today include, as I mentioned, orientation, some of our STEM communities and housing and residence life. We'll also talk a little bit more about our science student organizations and some other ways that you can get involved if you were to join us here at IUPUI. One way that your involvement starts is getting engaged at orientation. So one thing I did want to mention a little bit more about is what orientation is going to look like this year. And as things develop with COVID, we'll make some more finalized plans, but it appears right now we're going to be starting off with orientation online, and then we're hopeful to have some in-person components for you in the summer. But even though it's online, it'll be in small groups. You'll be able to meet one-on-one or in small groups with your advisor as well. So there's still a nice personal touch to the online component of orientation. Orientation registration will open up in mid-March, so keep an email out for that if you have put in your application. We encourage students to attend orientation early on, because the earlier you attend orientation, the more opportunity you have to pick from a wide variety of class schedules and be able to create a little bit more of that ideal schedule for yourself. So attend orientation as early as you can, but know whenever you attend orientation, we'll get you set up. If you're starting in the summer, those will happen late in the spring. And if you're starting in the fall, those will happen late spring into the summer. They start in May and go through early August. So you have some time there with orientation as well. More information is going to be updated on the orientation website, so just keep an eye out for that. And again, we'll let you know when orientation comes open, but expect that to be in mid-March. I also wanted to share a little bit more about another awesome way you can get engaged is to live on campus. About half of our first-year students live on campus. A lot more live in the downtown area. As Dustin shared, we've got a very vibrant downtown community around us. But would really encourage you, if you're able to think about living on campus, that's something that you consider. And one great opportunity for science students is to live in one of our STEM residential-based learning communities. So we have 3 of them. We have our Women in Science House, which is apartment style living. And we have first-year students through seniors that actually live in that. It's a small community of about 30 women, and there's a scholarship associated with WISH. We have Purdue House, which is also apartment style, mostly upper class students who are living in Purdue House as well. We have engineering students that are in Purdue House, in addition to all of our science students. And then we have our largest community, which is specifically for first-year students, is our STEM floor in our newest residential facility on campus, North Hall. And so that's for first year students, science students, engineering and technology students. We also have a WISE wing that's part of that floor. So it's for women in science and engineering as well. So it's a great opportunity. All of our housing communities are great, whether you live in a science community or live in another one of our communities. I know we have a lot of students who are in honors housing as one example, or you might be want to be in a more general population space as well. But it's really important for you to think about, what experience do you want? What's best for you? So if you're looking for that first year experience with other science and more largely STEM majors, STEM floor is going to be a really good fit for you. If you would like to get some more mentorship opportunities, Purdue House or Wish could also be something that you think about as well. But I would say what's most typical for our first year students that want to be in a STEM community is living on the STEM floor. And so I'd really encourage you to think about that as an option if that would be something that you're interested in. So some of the benefits, we've already started talking about these, being able to live with students with similar majors, mentorship from other science students. If you live in the STEM floor, all of our RAs are from science or engineering or technology. So Haley, one of the students who will be speaking later, for example, is an RA on our STEM floor. You get access to a whole bunch of unique programs that are specific to the STEM floor or to Women in Science House or Purdue House. So we have like etiquette dinners, we have the dean coming in for programming. We've had STEM movie night, for example. So all sorts of really unique things, as well as you get to have a lot of fun. Our STEM floor is one of our most social floors on all of IUPUI. So it's a really fun place to be. And every time I'm up there, there's always something going on. You can already apply for housing if that's an interest. And the priority date for those are due on March 15th. So rates for next year are not up to date yet. Those usually, that's one question I get a lot. Those are not updated until much later. The Board of Trustees has to approve those. So those will be updated late spring, early summer. And then when you apply for housing, you can put your preference. If you want to be in RBLC, what's your preference? And you can put multiple things in there in terms of what might be your first or second preference as well. If you're applying for Wish, there is a scholarship application that's associated with that. And I'd be happy to share that link with you. And you can also find more information on the housing website as well. So Dustin already shared some of our student organizations here as well. So we have 34 student organizations that have a science focus within the school. So every major that we offer has a student organization associated with it. All of our concentrations as well. So if you're a math major, for example, there's an actuarial science club. If you're interested in going to professional school, I think that might be an interest. We have organizations that have a professional focus to them. We have organizations that are specific around different social identities within science as well. So one new organization that just started was OSTEM, Out in STEM. And they've been really involved in getting some programming going. We also have a governing organization for the school, so the Undergraduate Student Council. And a great way to get connected with organizations early on is by keeping up to date with information that we'll send to you once you would start here as a student, and then also attending the science picnic as well. So I would never put this much text on a screen typically, but this just shows you how many student organizations we have that have a science focus. I'm not able to talk about all of them today, But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to share more information, but you can see the wide variety. Typically for a first year student, what I suggest is in your first year that you get involved in one science organization and that you get involved in something else that's outside of science. So there's close to 500 organizations at IUPUI as a whole. So whether it be a science organization or just another interest that you have, I would really encourage you to get involved. And then I think you'll see from our student leaders as they share their experiences, you get involved in a few things your first year, and then the longer you're here, the more that grows, and then you'll find other things to get involved with, and who knows, take on some leadership roles within some of those organizations. Outside of organizations, we have students get involved in a lot of other things. One unique opportunity for our students is undergraduate research. So I'd really encourage you to think about research as an opportunity. Study abroad is another great way to get engaged, have an international experience. Service learning is also, whether that be through a course or just service to the larger community, is another great way to get engaged. We have a lot of great opportunities in and outside of science for service within the Indianapolis community and beyond. And then also another great way to get involved is through experiential opportunities. So something like an internship. So you may not do that in your first year, but you'll start preparing for that in your first year. So for example, a lot of our first year students are applying for sophomore internships, or as a sophomore, you might be applying for an internship in your junior year. And there are a lot of opportunities we have on and off campus. So to help you support those, one of our really popular programs is the Life Health Sciences internship. A lot of our science students take advantage of that. Or you might get an internship in the community. We have a great new program as well, where if you find an internship that would provide you some great experience, but it's not paid, if you have a financial need, we'll make that non-paid internship into a paid experience for you, because that's really important for many of our students to have that income. There are also a lot of other great resources that you can get engaged and involved with here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are just some of the science-specific resources that we have. All of these are also job opportunities. Student employment is another great way to get engaged while you're here as well. And then we have a lot of campus-wide resources that you can take advantage of and help you get engaged and involved on campus as well. So I've talked about a lot of different things here today, but one of the things I would just encourage you all to do is, you can come to IUPUI and come to class and go home and get your degree. But taking advantage of all of these different opportunities we have for you will really enrich and make your experience. So, think about what kind of science story you want to tell about your experience while you're here. And hopefully some of the things that I've talked about today and some of the things our awesome student leaders will share with you will give you some ideas for that. We always love to hear from you through social media, and I'm sure Dustin will be sharing a little bit more here as well. But I have our contact information and then my personal email if you have any questions that you would like to ask via email. But I can also take questions today if there are any.
All right. Thank you so much, Diana. I appreciate it. All right. I actually just shut my window because the light was shining all on my shirt and you couldn't see it for a minute. And I was like, oh, please. So
Yeah,
now that
those science shirts.
I know I got to rep it off.
You
Right?
can see mine.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Yours is just a little bit more colorful than mine.
I know, right? I've got this.
The rainbow shirts are my
rainbow
favorite.
shirt today.
Yes. All right. So now that we've got that done, I'd like to open it up to your guys' questions, which I do see we have a few already. So we do have Alexa, Haley, and Joe here today. So if you if folks want to kind of turn your video cameras on and everything like that, that'd be great. So awesome. Oh my God, look, Alexa's even got the rainbow shirt on too. Come on now. I missed the memo, guys. I'm sorry. So that being said, we're going to go in alphabetical order for the students. So if you guys want to, Alexa, you'll start it off. Kind of give us a little bit more information about your kind of your major, your hometown, kind of your future plans, the whole shebang.
Cool. Hi, everyone. My name's Alexa. My pronouns are she, her. I am a junior, kind of scary, majoring in psychology. I'm from Chicago and I moved here to go to Iupui. Fantastic choice. And in the future, I hope to be a psychologist for the deaf and hard of hearing.
All right, Haley, it's your turn now.
I really thought J came before H. That's my bad. Okay. Hi, I'm Haley. Pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a senior here at IUPUI. This is my last semester. I'm going to be graduating in May. Pretty excited. I am a forensic and investigative science major with concentrations in both forensic chemistry and forensic biology. And then I'm also getting majors in general chemistry and general biology. So lots going on, but very exciting. Love it so much. I am also the president of the Forensic Science Club here at IUPUI. I saw there were questions about that. Yes, you don't have to be a forensic science major to get involved with the club. I already answered a question. Don't know if I was allowed to do that, but yeah, that's me.
All right, Joe, it's your turn.
Alrighty, thank you, Dustin. My name is Joe. I am a freshman here at IUPUI. I am a forensic science major. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm brand new this year. This is my first time doing college, doing online college, all that stuff. So especially you students out there that have questions on that online college and just kind of how things work with the School of Science, and then maybe even in forensics, let me know on that, because I am right there with you guys. So that's me. Science.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I really did miss the memo. I'm so sorry. And Haley too. Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. We'll get you one eventually. We'll get you one eventually. All right. So Diana is also still with us as well. So if you guys have questions for her, feel free to put those in the Q&A. So again, I do encourage you to add them. Now, let's start it off with Forensic Science Club, because Haley kind of was already getting a jump on that one. So we've got, if I've already been accepted to major in chemistry, can I still get involved with forensic science? So Haley, if you want to go ahead and tell those ways.
Yeah, so Forensic Science Club is not for any specific major. We welcome all majors. You don't even have to be a STEM major. Anyone can get involved as long as you are a full-time student here at IUPUI. So if you're enrolled in a major, you're good to go. So we have meetings every other week, and then we connect you with faculty here on campus, specifically in the forensic science major, as well as professionals in the Indianapolis community in forensic science. And so, yeah, no prerequisites required to join the club.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And do you actually want to talk a little about kind of what the Forensic Science Club does? Because I know we've got the murder mystery dinner, so that's always a classic that everybody loves.
Yes, our biggest event every year is in the spring. We host a murder mystery dinner, which is just a life-size game of Clue, essentially. We set up this entire script and this entire layout. We rent the biggest room in the campus center, and it's essentially just a murder mystery, and you have to find out who the killer is by the end of the night. We serve dinner. It's free to any student here on campus. And yeah, it's just like a big interactive thing where you can come and solve the murder. Besides that, like I said, we connect with faculty, we host professional panels, and we have people come in and present on their specialties. We also just do volunteering around Indianapolis, where we go and we teach K through 12 schools about forensic science. So we'll volunteer at like a middle school at their science fair, and we'll do an activity with them. Like last year we did strawberry DNA extraction. If you don't know, you can extract DNA and make necklaces out of them. It's pretty cool. You have a biodegradable jewelry, kind of a cool thing. But yeah, that's what Forensic Science Club is about.
Yes, it is very exciting. I just saw that question in there. Yes, I agree. So, all right. Now here's a good one. So as an RA, Haley, you might actually have to answer this. I guess I'm just putting you on the spot right now, I guess. Oh, it just disappeared. I think Laura just answered it a little bit. Let me scroll down. How would the COVID-19 situation affect the housing for incoming freshmen? And Haley, I guess, do you want to kind of talk about how it's a little bit different on the STEM floor right now because of COVID?
Sure. I feel bad I'm talking the whole time, but like Dustin said and Dr. Sims Harris mentioned, I am an RA, a resident assistant in North Hall, which is one of our residential buildings here on campus. And specifically, I'm in the STEM RBLC, so I handle all of those first year STEM students like you guys. It's really cool. And I was also in the same position last year, so I've seen it both ways. I've seen COVID and non-COVID housing here. The biggest difference this year has been that normally our rooms are doubles, so you have 2 people in a room, but our occupancy has been cut basically in half, so our doubles are actually only being occupied by 1 resident unless they specifically requested to have a roommate. So that's the biggest difference. We have about half of the students here. And then on top of that, there's also obviously COVID preventative measures. So we have mitigation testing for our students staying on campus every week. So you have to go get tested for COVID to make sure we're limiting the spread, you know. Also, masks have to be worn inside the building when you're not inside your own room. So anytime you're out in like the halls or the common areas that we have lounges in the corners of each of the building floors, and we have kitchenettes and bathrooms that are shared. So in all of those common spaces, you have to be wearing a mask. So that's another big adjustment. But other than that, it's still pretty standard college living. You still get to interact with people all across the building. We still host programs within the building. It's just socially distanced and conscientious of the pandemic. So yeah, not huge changes, but just to keep everyone safe.
Awesome. That was a very thorough answer. Thank you so much, Haley. Did it much better than I would have answered it. So brilliant. So, all right, I'll answer this one. They said, I'm still debating between biology and forensic science. Is there a way to do a double major? And if you can, would it push back your graduation date? So here's a Haley who has 3 majors, right? So she's got biology, chemistry, and forensic science. She is graduating in, I believe it was 4 years, correct? Yep, okay. So I didn't push back her graduation date at all. I'm also doing a double major between biology and forensic science. The classes overlap very well. So you typically can do it between biology and forensics or chemistry and forensics, or as Haley's doing, all 3. So you really don't have to worry about that graduation date being pushed back or anything like that. Now, okay. Now, Alexa, this might be a good one for you. Do any of you do community service clubs? What's available club-wise? I know you're involved with psychology club, if I remember correctly. So if you want to kind of talk about clubs in that general sense.
Yeah, cool. So I am in Psychi, which originally was with Psychology Club. Now it is separate, but it's really cool because it is an honor society that gives you different resources about psychology. It allows you to interact with your peers that are in the psychology major at IUPUI. So it's really cool to be around other people that are in the same major, because then you can talk about different classes and talk about different professors. Like, hey, like, did you like this professor? Yes, I did. Cool, I'll take them too. Or like different kind of things, different opportunities, scholarships, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's really, really cool. I definitely recommend that, like, if you know your major and it's something that has a club, which there is a club for everything, definitely get involved in the club, because you will meet so many people, and networking, you know, listen to that. Networking is fantastic in college. You can meet someone and they know someone, then you know that someone of someone. So you can get, you know, connected to so many different opportunities. And it's just overall like a really good like bonding experience. So a lot of different people and experiences that you can know from clubs. Yeah.
Thank you, Alexa. So, all right, we've got a few questions here. So Joe, I feel like your internet's going in and out because I keep seeing you jump in and out. So really quick, if you want to say, somebody asked, Joe, what were you able to get involved with as a freshman? So this is definitely a little bit more tricky given COVID, but do you want to kind of talk about kind of how you got involved?
Yeah, sure does. So I apologize if I am coming in and out. As you can see, I'm in my car here. It's a little bit difficult. Students struggle with finding Wi-Fi. But I would say, even as a freshman, there were like a lot of opportunities open to me. I was actually able to join in with you all as a panelist. I attended science periodically as a student, but I liked it so much that I decided to start joining the group and helping out. So I ended up actually getting a job with the School of Science, and it has been really awesome, fun. It's helped me network a lot, meet a lot of really cool people, and just kind of overall, be more involved in the science side of things. So I would say it has been challenging to find uh, different activities to get involved with, but at the same time, a lot of people are working very hard to try and get that experience out for everybody, and be able to have as many fun things as we can while being safe. So that's what I would say on that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I remember when Joe actually was in science periodically, she sent me a photo of her and her pet duck. I believe his name is Chompy. And yes, I know, Alexa, me too. He was the cutest little thing ever. He's so sweet. That's still my favorite photo. I love that one. All right, so here we go. I've got a good question right here that pretty much all of you can answer. So we'll, again, do it in alphabetical order. Here we go. I was going to say she was showing the photo, but again, she's a little choppy right now. So here we go. The question is, if any of you lived / still live on campus, which halls were you in and what was your experience like? Perfect that Alexa will be starting us off on this one.
Thank you. Fantastic. Oh my gosh. Live on campus. Please do it. I am going to make you do it. You're going to listen to me. I'm going to hypnotize you, and you're going to live on campus. It's a fantastic experience. I loved it so much. North Hall, best hall. It'll be in your brain because you're going to live at North Hall and you're going to know it's the best hall. It's fantastic. I personally love on-campus housing. I don't know if you could tell, kind of trying to make it obvious. It's such like the perfect way to like meet people. I'm from Chicago, so I came to Iupui knowing nobody. I'm going to try to make this quick because I could go on forever. I'm from out of state, so I didn't really know anyone. So I was really nervous because like college is like big thing. It's not like high school. I need to meet people. I need to put myself out there. So the dorms are really like the perfect experience and perfect way to like, go next door and be like, hey, my name's Alexa. What's your name? Do you want to be friends? And that's how I met so many of my friends and so many people that I know. It's like the perfect experience. And, STEM floor, it's like you go up there. I didn't live on the STEM floor. I wish I did, but go up there and like, so many people are like, they're in your class. You can ask for help. I wasn't the best in math, so I was able to get a lot of help with that. So really an overall fantastic experience. Please live there. It's so good.
So Haley, do you want to, yeah.
Sorry, I'm on the
Okay,
same
yeah.
page as Alexa. I love on-campus housing, obviously, too. I have lived on campus all 4 years. Like Alexa, I'm actually from Illinois, too. So as an out-of-state student living on campus, best idea to meet people, of course. Freshman year, I lived in North Hall. Loved it so much, was also not on the STEM floor, but spent the majority of my time on the STEM floor because that's where all my friends were, because that's where everyone who was in my major was living. So that was awesome. Definitely recommend the STEM floor. My sophomore year, I actually lived in the Riverwalk Apartments, which is like an entirely different experience because it's your own apartment. You have 3 roommates. Well, I did because I lived in a 4-bedroom, but I lived with people that I actually met living in North Hall. So we all just kind of moved in together. It was awesome. And then last year I became an RA back at North Hall. And this year I'm an RA at North Hall too. So I've spent 3 years living in North Hall. So I wouldn't if it wasn't great. So you can take it from me. Great Yelp review, 5 stars all the way. Love living on campus. Highly recommend it. If you're on the fence, I'm going to push you over to the side where you live on campus. You definitely should. Yes.
I was muted. So Joe, you can actually answer. There's a 2-for-1. So how is living in Wish different than the STEM floor? Which you can just give your experience on living with Wish, since we've gotten a little bit about the STEM floor here.
Yeah, so I'm a freshman this year and I'm living in Wish, which is a little bit different. A lot of people um, kind of will say that it's not as much of a freshman house as it is an upperclassman house, but I would definitely disagree. My experience as a freshman in Wish has been amazing. It's a super cool community of all women in science, and everybody there is just like super helpful with things. You know, you can go around, you can really like talk with other people, and if you're struggling in a class or a certain professor or anything, you know, you always know you can just kind of go upstairs and like talk to somebody or send something out on the group meet like, hey, can someone help me study, or you know, whatever. And then there's usually somebody up somewhere in the house. You know, there's somebody that's up and somebody that's passed the class or knows kind of some of those tricks. So for me as a freshman, it was wonderful to have that, and you know, to really have a group of strong women to relate to, and just you know, help me out with my first year and in science in general. So I would definitely recommend looking into Wish, because it is so much fun. And I don't know about STEM floor, but my personal bias is for Wish House because it's great. It's really great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I actually have a question for Diana. It says, as an adult student and commuting, what is the best way to get involved when not necessarily considering on-campus housing?
Yeah, so I think if you're not living on campus, there's still lots of different ways that you can get involved. What I would say is keep an eye out when you go to orientation. You'll learn about several different involvement opportunities. And then there'll be a lot of different events that will showcase ways that you can get involved. Um, and one of the things you can also keep an eye out on is our newsletter. We put student organization call out meetings in that newsletter. You might hear some specific information from your departments. And then the spot is a sort of our hub for student organizations on campus. All of our science student organizations are on the spot, and then all of the other organizations are on the spot too. So I would encourage you to visit that website, and you can even, you know, let the leadership of that organization know, hey, I'm interested, and see what events they have coming up. So, you know, just put yourself out there, go to events, keep an eye on what is going on. There's always, every day, there's something. There are multiple things happening on our campus. So you just can take that initiative to get out there and get involved. And then, you know, find a buddy to go with too, if that would, you know, make you more comfortable. There are all sorts of different folks who want to get involved, but just want to take a friend along with them too. So feel free to do that.
Yeah, and Lori actually put a link for the spot down in the chat. So if you guys want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. So Diana, thank you so much for answering that. Now we got a couple here, so we'll start from the older one that I haven't answered yet. So it's, how do you travel around campus, drive, bus, etc.? And are there restrictions for freshmen driving on campus? Now, I am a commuter, and I would first like to say you really don't need to travel around campus because everything is so like centrally located, and all your science classes are pretty much going to be in the same building, or if not, like a 5-minute walk away to lecture hall. So you really don't have to worry much about that. Now, the restrictions for freshmen driving on campus, there aren't any. Yep, Haley's shaking her head no. Saw Alexa shaking her head no. So I got that right. So you're more than welcome to have a car. If you are living on campus, there is a special parking pass for that. Yep, Haley's shaking her head again. So again, that just also depends on where you're living at. So you're more than welcome to travel around campus however you want to, but most of the time people are walking around because everything's so close together. Now, so if you guys want to give your little input about this one, what's it like living downtown? Is it safe? Now, first off, I'd like to say I definitely feel like IUPUI is, again, its own little ecosystem and everything's so close together. I've also seen a whole bunch of those safe, like emergency buttons around, so really don't have to worry about that. So what about you guys? What are your kind of experiences living around downtown? Do you feel like it's a little bit safe? Because as a guy, it's a little bit different for me. So it's really nice to have a woman's perspective on that one. So whoever wants to take the floor.
I'll go first. I am a city girl. I will tell you this. So I really love the city. I love being like central. I love being around things. I could walk to the Starbucks or I could walk to a restaurant, get like something to eat with my friends. I love like just like anything, everything around me, people around me. So I really, really love that about Indianapolis. And so it's fantastic to live at IUPUI because there's so much around you and there's so much to explore. And like, I still haven't explored it all. I really want to keep going, but I think it's fantastic. As for safety, I really do think it's safe. Like the area around us, it's very safe. I remember I had a late class one time and I was like kind of nervous. I did live at the dorm, so it was like 5-minute walk to my room. So it was perfect, really. And like sometimes too, if you live in the dorms, you could literally walk basically the whole way inside. You'll have to walk for like 30 seconds outside, but you can mostly like make your way inside campus and then like walk 2 seconds to your room or to the dorm. So that's really, really cool. I love that, especially in the winter. You will not be cold for that long. So I really like it. I feel very safe here. It really like adds to the whole like making me feel like at home, which is part of the reason why I love IUPUI. I'll talk more about that later, but I think it's really safe and I think IUPUI is just a perfect location.
Thank you again for that, Alexa. So actually, I want to tack on that if you don't really feel safe walking around, we do also have what's called Safe Walk. So what it is you can kind of contact them and they're more than happy to walk you to wherever you need to be, whether it be your car or your dorm. So that's also something to consider. Do Haley and Joe, do you guys have anything that you'd like to add on about that, or do you kind of just agree?
I'll kind of add on. Oh, do you want to go first? No? Okay, I'll go. Sorry, it's Zoom, you know. Adding on to Alexa, I am not from the city. I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, so I'm from the burbs. But Indy isn't, it's a big city, don't get me wrong, it's a city. But it's still the way Dustin phrased it, IUPUI is its own little ecosystem within the city. So on campus, I've never felt unsafe. I've never felt like I was gonna get lost or that I was out on my own. I've always felt very comfortable. And like we were saying, there's a safe walk option. You can go through what we call the hamster tubes, so you can stay inside and get from building to building without walking outside. Campus is really well lit, so like you don't have to worry about walking anywhere in the dark. I know that's a lot of people's fears, but like it's very well lit. There's buildings everywhere. There's people all over campus. So I've never felt unsafe here in the city. And there's plenty of things to do that are right nearby campus. So you can still go on an adventure, but still feel like you're close to that like main hub. So like, yes, good experience all the way.
Thank you. Joe, do you have anything?
Yeah, I would just say like I was from a very small town, so not city experience, nothing at all. When I came in and then I came into Indy, I did not know anybody. I did not know anything about city living, so that was a bit daunting for me. But I would say that I learned pretty quick, you know, how things work at school there, and I got with a nice group of friends, especially, you know, if you join a community like Wish. You kind of already have like some friends before you even get to campus, which is super cool. So then for me, you know, I was able to really go places with friends if I felt like, oh, you know, I don't want to walk alone or anything like that. Like I've always had tons of people volunteer to like take me places or you know, anything like that. But all in all, I really felt pretty safe on campus. I bike a lot, which I think is great. If you want to bike, if you want to drive, things like that can kind of get you places a little quicker if you don't really like being outside. But overall, I would say our campus is pretty safe. And then, you know, it's always easy to find somebody that will be willing to walk with you. Or like Dustin said, you know, even the school has a safety walk ability. And I think that's super cool for especially young freshmen women coming in. So
Yeah, well, thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. So, all right, here's a question that I can definitely answer. How likely is it for a freshman to have work study and to keep it? So I actually had work study when I was a freshman and I still have work study. So as long as you are applying for it through, I always get this wrong, FAFSA or FOSFA, however you say it, if you're, Haley just corrected, however it is. I don't know if she's muted. So however you say it, as long as you're clicking that box when you're submitting it, you are more than likely going to get work study. The amount that you get is going to vary. So it really just depends on kind of your award. Now, all right. So Lori did just answer this one. It is talking about kind of in-person visits. So I will like to say, did she link it in there? She did. She kind of gave a breakdown of what it is, but we are doing campus tours in person starting February 11th. So if you guys are interested in that, you can visit our website, which is actually linked in the answered comment. I will also send it in the chat here for easier access if you want. Now, okay, here's a really good one. How much time do you devote to classes / studying versus free time? Now, this is going to depend on who you are and kind of how you learn. So for me, if it's a forensics class and it's something I'm super passionate about, I usually get it right away. But if it's chemistry, I need to dedicate a lot of time. Hey, so Haley's shaking her head. Alexa's like, yes. And I feel like she can answer, she can agree with that with math because, you know, it's not always everybody's strong suit. But also, again, the resources that we have available help so much with that. So that takes up a good part of studying as well. So what about you guys? How do you kind of feel about what you devote to your class and studying versus your free time?
I'll go first. Okay, cool. So one of my majors, I'm actually double majoring in two completely different things, unfortunately for me, because this is when time management gets really like not so stressful, but like I really have to plan it out. So my second major is in American Sign Language Interpreting, and that's in the School of Liberal Arts. That's an IU degree, and psychology is in the School of Science, and that's a Purdue degree. So there's not that much overlap between the two degrees, and it's possible to double major in two different fields. So if you were thinking about it, doing a science and like a language, it's really cool, really good for job, availabilities. So that was kind of difficult for me because I really knew I loved sign language and I wanted to incorporate that into my degree, but with that kind of scheduling and planning and making sure I did all my assignments for my classes, it was kind of difficult for me. But I eventually, like, really, it's your freshman year, your first semester, you're going to feel the flow of college. It's different from high school, but you're going to understand how it goes and you're going to know what your pace is and like how your studying goes and how your social life is. So you'll eventually find this like nice little balance of like what you know how to do and how to make everything flow and how to get everything done. So really what I like to do, and I really recommend this, is to get all your schoolwork done first. If you have like 30 minutes in between your classes or like an hour in between your classes, get some small work done. I know maybe it's a really good advice. Like you get that done and you don't have to do it later. So personally, that's what I do because my schedule is really, really full for school, but I definitely have time for social life. It's what I like to do for fun. Like I like to hang around with my friends and I like to just like chill after being done with school. So it's definitely possible. You can have a social life and do a bunch of stuff at school. But yeah, that's what I do.
Now, Joe, I saw you were getting cut off. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yes, we're all so excited to answer these questions. I think we're all kind of just jumping at each other like, um, but I would say as a freshman, coming into college, especially with everything being online with COVID, it was kind of a very different aspect of starting college and classes and workload and things like that. But you do definitely really like get into it. Once you kind of get the flow of when things are due, when you have class, you get used to it, and then you can really look at your schedule and find those times where you can go for a walk, you can go out with friends, you can maybe even find a job, something else like that. So for me, my schedule is pretty packed as a forensic science major with a biology concentration there too. So it can be a little challenging, but if you learn to manage your time well, and you probably will within the first couple weeks of school, you will be able to find time for any kind of fun activities, or exploring indie is super cool, and of course hanging out with more people once we're not all under quarantine here.
Yeah, definitely. Haley, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I can just kind of echo what Alexa said and what Joe said. I mean, it's a lot. It's definitely different from high school. I mean, I have taken 18 credit hours every semester, which is like the max that you can do under that banded tuition. I have a job. I've had a job every year I've been here. I've been involved in organizations. So like, it's a lot but it's because there's so many opportunities, like you want to get involved in everything. And all I can really say is that if you want to do it, there's a way to make it happen. So don't let the fear of being overwhelmed like hold you back. Like I managed to find the balance, and I am like a chronic procrastinator, like the worst one you'll ever meet. Honestly, it's horrible. But like if I can do it and I've made it to my 4th year and I'm graduating on time, I promise you can do it too. Just like don't let it hold you back, your fear of being overwhelmed, because there's so many resources and so many people to help support you. Like go for it, do your best. And if you have to take a step back later and maybe back off of one thing, that's totally fine too. Like don't be discouraged by that, but like definitely use all of the things available to you here at IUPUI. Take on that opportunity.
That was really good. Thank you, Haley. So that's 2 questions down on one. So, okay, what is the biggest difference between learning science in high school and science at IUPUI? So, it's a lot more of a time commitment, and it really just depends what the course is. If you whatever you're majoring in, you're pretty much guaranteed to take it with Bio 101 with Dr. Mars. So right off the bat, you're going to notice you got a lot more students in there, and the material is going to be a lot more in depth than what you remember in high school. So in high school, you're kind of scratching the surface. Now, once you're in college, you're going more in depth, and you're actually learning the whole process behind everything to kind of build a really good foundation for your courses later on. So I know I'm still using things that I've learned in Bio 101 in like my forensics class. So again, it's a big portion because I am biology major, but yeah, you'll go a lot more in depth, and it'll be a lot more. Do you guys have anything you want to echo with that, or you guys good with that one? All right, get nose and Haley.
Oh, I was just gonna say, kind of like what Dustin said in the beginning, your general classes, they're a lot bigger, but we have things on campus called recitations, which are really awesome. So I, like my freshman year, Bio 101, Dr. Mars, bless her heart, love her, but there was almost 200 people in that lecture, which can be really overwhelming and scary when you came from like a high school where like there were 30 people in the class. But there's recitations, like I said, which are just smaller groups of that giant lecture broken up, and you go to a recitation once or twice a week, and you have a TA there, and it's like you and like 15 other people, so way more manageable, and you get almost one-on-one time with a TA who has taken this class and done really well and knows the material. And so they'll go over what you did in lecture that week and break it down, and you'll work through problem sets, and you'll get to work with other people like who are also in the same boat as you, overwhelmed. So that makes everything a whole lot easier. So like even though there is this big scary lecture, like there's still that safety net of that recitation. And then as you move on, so like I'm a senior, I'm in level 400 classes, you go from these like 200 person lectures down to these like 15 person lectures. Like my forensic chemistry class, there's 20 of us in there, I think. And that's like the smallest class ever. Like that's smaller than a high school class for me, at least. So like as you move through it, you're surrounded by people who are really involved and really enjoy the same subjects that you're doing, which is a really big difference from high school too. Because I don't know about you guys, but I was definitely like sitting in math class, I'm like, oh, I hate this class, I don't want to be here. But like when I'm in my forensic science class, I'm like, oh yes, I love this, and I'm surrounded by people who love it too. So like you start out broad, but with the safety net, and it slowly gets more narrow and more towards the thing you want to do, which is cool.
That was wonderful, Haley. You touched on everything that I almost forgot to do. So thank you so much. So we've got 2 more questions. And then make it 3. I just got another one in the chat. So first one is it cheaper to live on campus or to live 20 to 30 minutes away? So this actually depends on where you're living on campus. Everything's going to be pretty much the same. So it really just depends on what you're looking for and the convenience of if you want to be on campus. Because again, it can be a little bit of a drag when you want to drive 20 to 30 minutes every day. I would know. So, and it does kind of make it a little bit harder. But again, if you are dedicated and you're like, that's something that you can do still off campus. But it really just depends, again, what you're looking for, because they are going to be roughly the same amount. So there are also a few apartments around campus as well. They might be a little bit more expensive than living on campus. It's just something that you would definitely want to look into. So there's that one. So, okay, here we go. Do any of you have experience taking class? Oh, Alexa's
Sorry,
got something to say.
I have something to add. I would also really look into, because I really recommend housing. So there are scholarships out there that will cover housing stipends. Like I have scholarships that cover housing stipends. So really look out for that, because housing research shows that people who live on campus do better in school anyway. Like it's just really great to just wake up 5 minutes for your class and be there on time. So housing is fantastic. There are scholarships that will help you with your overall tuition, and they will help pay for board. So I'd also really think about that when you're debating on whether or not to live on campus or off campus. There are on-campus scholarships, or scholarships that will help with that on-campus fee.
Yeah, and also that being said, Wish is also, it has a scholarship attached to it. So I see Joe smiling about that. So that is something to also consider if you are a woman in science. So that is something that you might want to apply for. Now, that being said, here's the next question. Thank you so much, Alexa, for adding that, though. That was a really great addition. I almost forgot about that. So do any of you have experience taking classes for the Honors College as science majors? I don't think any of us are part of the Honors College. However, Diana actually will answer this one. Here we go.
Yeah, well, I work with some of our honors students. So you can come into the Honors College through a couple different ways. If you apply as a first year student, that process has already taken place. But then you can also apply after your first year. So if you didn't apply for the Honors College, I would definitely encourage you to apply for our Science Honors program that you could start your sophomore or junior year, even if you meet the requirements for that. But there's all sorts of different honors experiences that you can take advantage of. So some of our intro level courses have honors sections of them. So our K101, our biology K101 intro bio class has an honors specific a section that's associated with a recitation and a lab to give you an awesome experience. A lot of other classes have honors already attached to it, but then you can also make any class an honors experience through an honors contract. So you work one-on-one with your professor in a class to do an additional project and really get to know the information more in depth, and also gives you a great opportunity to get to know a faculty member one-on-one. So there's all sorts of different honors experiences that are available to you.
Thank you so much, Diana. That actually helped a lot. So she, again, Honors College, if you want to, you're welcome to apply your freshman year or anytime after that. Again, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you do have to make up those honors credits, but it is still a great opportunity. So we're going to end this one off with the last question, which saved a good one for last. So it is, what's one of your favorite things about IUPUI? And we'll do this again in alphabetical order. So Alexa, if you want to start us off.
Yay, very excited. Okay, so I think it's just, IUPUI makes me feel like I'm at home. You know, kind of what I said earlier, I'm from out of state, so that's really important to me, making sure that I am somewhere that I feel like I belong, that I feel like I have a support system, that I feel like I have a lot of friends, people who are there for me. So really, as soon as I stepped into IUPUI, I did the tours. So, you know, I was much like you before, and I toured a bunch of different schools, and the tour guides were like, you know, come to this college. But I was like, you don't seem really excited about it. But when I came to IUPUI, everyone was so welcoming, so excited. They really seemed like IUPUI was like the best place on earth, which it is. I'll tell you that. It's really cool. I really love it. And it's just, I just felt at home. I felt comfortable. I just felt a special connection to it. I still do. I love IUPUI. I love going to classes. I really miss being on campus. Like, I can't wait for everything to go back. You're gonna love it. You will love it. I promise you. So it's just really that connection I felt with IUPUI. It's just, everyone is so welcoming. They'll hold the door open for you forever. So that's something about IUPUI that I thought was so strange. Everyone just is so nice, and I just really makes me feel like I'm at home.
I'm going to be really lame, and I'm basically going to copy Alexa. I'm going to go with the people. Honestly, the people I've met here are incredible. I've been here for 4 years. I've been in contact with so many people, but like from the beginning, like my freshman year, like the people here, like students, staff, faculty, like your professors, they're awesome. Like I still talk to professors from my freshman year regularly. Like I will email them, I will talk to them, I will stop by their office hours, I will like reach out and like figure out when they are, and I'll still stop by because they have all been so helpful and so kind. Like, not to rag on my high school, but like my college professors are way more invested in me as like a person and as a student than like anyone I had in my high school. And I'm like really lucky I ended up here because I've made so many connections, I've had so many opportunities, and like I honestly feel like going through IUPUI has like prepared me. Like I know a lot of people are like scared to graduate, but like I feel like I'm ready, and I think it's because of the opportunities from the people that have met here like on campus. Like I'm ready to walk out those doors off the stage in May and like get started. And it's honestly because of like the people I've met here. So yeah.
All right, Joe, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm still here. I guess my take on it, I have yet to really have the full IUPUI social experience as a freshman during the COVID times. But I would say probably my favorite part about IUPUI is just the opportunities. Like there are just so many different opportunities with, finding an on-campus job or joining someone's research project or, just being involved in like so many different things. I just think that that's really great. And if you kind of are a little bit more academic minded with things, there's like so many different internships and work studies and things like that that you can get involved in to help you out that way. And if you're more socially inclined, there's like so many clubs, there's so many just different groups of people, just things to do. I think that that kind of sets us a little bit apart from other colleges that may have like a lot more students or don't really focus so much on making sure that each student is getting quality education and having that one-on-one time and really having just opportunity. If you want it, if you want anything here, you can go for it. You can really just do whatever you want. Yeah, I think that's super cool.
Well, thank you to the student panel, everybody. So Alexa, Haley, and Joe, thank you so much. It really did help, and I really do appreciate it. So before we go, I do have one question that I'd like to hear. It's not really a question, but somebody said, thank you, everyone, for your time. You helped me make my decision to attend IUPUI. So we're very glad to have you. So, yep, thumbs up from everybody here. So thank you so much for actually joining us. And before we head on out, I do have a few quick words. So again, thank you to the student panel. So again, I know you guys' time is valuable. So again, thank you, as well as to Dr. Sims Harris for joining us. And to all of you who are also tuned in, thank you. We're excited that you guys are considering IUPUI and that we helped make your decision today. And we really do want to help you out with anything else that you might have. So we're going to be doing this again in 2 weeks on February 3rd. When we'll have biology professor and Down syndrome researcher, Dr. Randall Roper, here to kind of talk about his research and the benefits of getting involved in school science research, which you can do as early as your freshman year. So we're also going to have 2 student researchers there to just to kind of share their research experiences and how they kind of got involved. So we do hope to see you guys there. And if you haven't signed up for it already, the link to sign up for the last JagDay installment is in the chat. Thank you to Lori for that one. And lastly, before I do log off, there is going to be a survey that will pop up at the end of the event. So you guys can take a couple minutes to kind of provide us some feedback and let us know what you kind of want to hear about in the future. And then also make sure you guys are checking your emails tomorrow for a follow-up to this event with links to learn more and kind of how you can speak with our recruiter, again, Lori Hart, who is in here, to kind of see more about the virtual science visit opportunities or also our on-campus tours when they restart on February 11th. You can also email us at science@iupui.edu with literally any question that you have. We're more than happy to help you out on that end. So stay healthy and happy. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. So thank you again for tuning in.